Good morning, children. This session, let us start by observing three different pictures. Okay, and let me see how many of you can guess today's topic. Yes, the first slide itself is a hint given for you. Okay, yes. Now, as you can see here, the three different pictures. The first picture we can see your small kid is feeling very hot. Okay, might be the day is very sunny, so she is feeling very hot, and you can see she is sweating a lot. Yes, and in the second picture you can see a boy rubbing his eyes. Probably a dirt would have fallen in his eyes. Okay, so he is quickly rubbing his eyes to get rid of the dirt. Fine. And in the third picture we can see a human hand just touching a hot vessel accidentally. Quickly the hand is being pulled off. Okay, the hand is withdrawn quickly from touching the hot vessel. Okay, all quick actions. Fine, children, you can see all quick actions going on in all the three pictures. So basically we understand, children, from these pictures that we are able to feel. Yes, we have this ability of feeling. In other words, what is the other word that I can use for feeling? We are able to sense, right, children? We are able to sense the changes that is happening around us so quickly. Fine, children, we are able to sense. Now just think of this situation. What exactly happens in all these three situations? Okay, in our body, yes, we know our external changes. We are sweating, and then we quickly rub our eyes. All these are external changes that we are doing, actions. But internally, what is happening in you that you immediately respond? What is happening internally? We understand that a lot of communications, a lot of quick communications and transmissions of signals going on in this just seconds. Okay, in seconds. Okay, as you can see, we just understand lot of communication. That is why the second something falls, you feel that something has fallen in your eyes, you quickly rub your hand, rub your eyes, you are quickly blinking your eyes, and sometimes even your eyes is shedding off the tear to get the dirt off. Yes, all these are very quick actions, and so some communications and transmissions has been going through in your body. Okay, in this seconds. Okay, in such a quick short span of time we can see lot of transmissions of signals going on. Yes, children. So our second question, how much time do you think we take to respond? Yes, children, can you answer me? Yes, you had the stimuli. What is the stimuli? The external change is the stimuli. Okay, the external change. What is that external change in these pictures? Maybe the first picture, the climate was the external change. It was extremely hot climate. Okay, and the second picture, the dirt had immediately fallen. So the dirt. And the third case, the temperature of the hot vessel. Okay, it was so hot. So all these are the external changes. I would call it as stimuli. And the way you respond, okay, the way you respond, you call it as response. Okay, the way we respond by sweating, your body is sweating, it is a kind of response, right? So the way we respond, we call it as response. Okay, children. Now the question is, how much time do you think we take to respond? Now the time you feel some dirt has fallen, did you take just 10 minutes to react? Did you take or 5 minutes to rub your eyes? How quickly you will do this action? Just, I would say 2 seconds, and sometimes even lesser than 2 seconds. Fine. Yeah, so maybe the time would be lesser than 2 seconds, not even 2 seconds, lesser than 2 seconds. Sometimes so quickly. Okay, imagine if you are touching a hot vessel accidentally, if you take more time to realize that you have touched a hot vessel, and if you are slowly removing your hand, by the time your hand will get burnt. Okay, so it's very amazing that in less than 2 seconds you quickly realize what is happening and you withdraw your hand. Fine, children. So what tissue is responsible for all this response? Can you guess? It is your, yes, what tissue? Nervous tissue. Fine children, nervous tissue. The fourth important classification under animal tissue we are studying is nervous tissue. So as rightly guessed, we are going to study about nervous tissue in this session. Fine children, can you recall the previous three tissues what we studied in under animal tissues? Tell me the three classification, children, that we studied or in our previous sessions. Animal tissues are classified into 4 types, and in the first session we saw epithelial tissue, that is skin and many other places, the outer covering epithelial tissue. And the second session we saw about connective tissue and its various types. Yes children, you remember tendon, ligament, areolar, adipose tissue, bone, cartilage, blood, all those comes under what children? Connective tissue. Okay, this connecting all parts. And the third session you studied about muscular tissue. What are the 3 types of muscular tissue we studied? Striated, unstriated or smooth muscle, and then cardiac muscles. 3 types we studied. And in this class, the 4th last classification we are going to study is nervous tissue. What children? Nervous tissue. Yes. So now you tell me, where can I find this nervous tissue in our body? Yes, I understand we have some tissues called nervous tissue, that is again it is made up of group of cells. We will see what cell and what are the features of that particular nerve cell. Now you tell me, this nervous tissue as such, where can I see? In which organ can I see? Yes, we can primarily see in 2 different organs children, that is brain and spinal cord. What? Can you repeat? Brain and spinal cord. Yes, as you can see in the picture, you can very well, you have a clear knowledge where is brain situated and where is your spinal cord situated. Okay, your brain is located in your head, very protectively. It is cased in cranium cavity, and it is protected by the bone, the hard bone called skull. Okay, your brain. So your brain is completely made up of what? Nervous tissue as well as your spinal cord, the continuation of your brain. That is, you have 3 major parts in your brain you have studied in your lower classes: cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla. And you know the continuation of your medulla is nothing but spinal cord. It runs from where to where children? From the neck region, that is continuation of your brain till your pelvic region. Fine children, till the hip region, till the end it runs. It's a long cord like structure, that is why it is given as spinal cord like structure, a thick rope like structure. Okay, spinal cord. So these are the main organs. Your brain and spinal cord are the main organs that is controlling all the actions in our body. Okay, for example, I can say, can you list out some actions that is controlled and decided by brain? Your thinking, yes, function of the brain, we know that it controls and decides many actions children, like your normal thinking. Almost every action is controlled by our human brain. I would say thinking, memory, yes, reading, writing, then all movements in your body, like what children? Like any movements, running, walking, sitting, standing, anything we decide. And even what to say, the way we speak, okay, what to speak, everything is decided by human brain. And it is not only our external actions children, even our internal movements, okay, the continuous beating of heart, yes, the continuous beating of heart, and then I would say your digestive movements, okay, the movement of food, and throughout the alimentary canal your food has to move, right? So all these movements are controlled and decided by which organ children? Brain. Now you might ask me, ma'am, if all these functions are done by human brain, then what does the spinal cord do? Yes, it's a, see the question, what does the spinal cord do? Spinal cord, it is the way through which the rest of our body is connected to our brain. Fine children, see, the brain is located in your head. Now remaining parts of your body has to be connected to the brain, right? Only then the signal can reach your brain and then come back. So that is the work of the spinal cord. It connects to the brain, okay? It connects all the different parts of your body to brain. But now again a question children, see the location of the brain and spinal cord. It is somewhere centrally located, right? It is not connecting all the parts of your body. You can see brain is centrally located as well as the continuation of brain is spinal cord, and it is centrally located. As you can see in the first picture, it is centrally located. Now the major question is, think of the situation. Accidentally you are touching a hot vessel. So which part of your body is touching the hot vessel? Your fingers from the hand, okay? Your fingers is touching the hot vessel, and in seconds you withdraw your hand. Now the question is, if your brain and spinal cord is centrally located, how did this message get transmitted to your brain so quickly in that short span of time, in just so rapidly? How did the signal transfer? Okay, see the third picture. Now the question is, how the signal transferred from your fingers, from your hand to your brain? How did it happen? Can you guess? Yes, we know that we have number of wires like connections, okay? As you can see this picture, you have wire like network that is connecting all your sensory organs and different parts of your body to the brain and spinal cord. These wires I call as nerves. What children? Nerves. Yes? Now you understand? It is not only brain and spinal cord children, our nervous system also consists of nerves. And you can very well call these nerves as nerve fibers. Why children? Why can we call these nerves as also nerve fibers? Can you guess? You know, anything long thread-like structure, we can use the word fiber. And very obviously, as you can see here, this nerve fiber is a long thread-like structure. It is a very long structure that is connecting all your sensory organs. Fine children, all your 5 sensory organs is connected to spinal cord, and the spinal cord, it connects to your brain. So I understand that is how the signal is transmitted so quickly in our body. A very good system we have. That is what systems children? As you can see in the slide, nervous system. Okay, tell me the components of nervous system: brain, spinal cord and nerve fibers. Nerve fibers we also call it as nerve. Okay. Now since we know now that it controls the entire working of body, now coming to this syllabus, I should understand what is a nervous tissue. From the beginning of the session, we are very clear that a tissue is a group of cells. Now the question, now nervous tissue consists of what cells? Which group of cell I will call it as nervous tissue? Okay, now let us see. Now coming back to the same example children. So as you can see, a lady touching a hot vessel accidentally. So this sensory organ, your skin is one of the sensory organ, right? It is sensing the hot object, and you can see the nerve fiber in the third picture. You can see the nerve fiber that is running from the fingers to your spinal cord, and then the spinal cord is also connected to your brain. So you can simultaneously you are able to sense the heat of the vessel, as well as you know consciously the brain also knows that you are touching a hot vessel, it is very harmful for your skin, and immediately in 2 seconds or less than 2 seconds you withdraw your hand. So what is connecting your sensory organ to your brain? Nerve fibers. And I am just telling you, these nerve fiber is a nervous tissue. It is one of the nervous tissue, and we are going to see more about this nervous tissue. Fine children? Yes. Now as you can see in this first picture, now we said the signal that you have touched a hot vessel is reaching your spinal cord, is reaching your brain through the spinal cord in just seconds, okay, in fraction of seconds, and the signal comes back telling that withdraw your hand. Yes, now the question children, see the question given here, how does the nerve impulse pass through this long strand and reach its destination? Yes, this dot like to brighten the dot like structure in the nerve fiber is nothing but impulse, okay, the impulse is shown children. Now what is this impulse? Impulse is nothing but the message. Okay, the message. Okay, I can also use the word signal, nerve signal, that you have touched a hot vessel. This signal has to be transmitted. This signal, I use the word nerve impulse. Fine children, it quickly passes through like a current. For electrical current we say electrical impulse, right? Very similarly here we use the word nerve impulse. So from the finger, it just in seconds it quickly gets transmitted. Now the question is, fine, I understand the nerve impulse is just getting transmitted quickly. How? Now for this question, how, I should understand this nerve fiber. Okay, how is this nerve fiber made up of, that it is connecting the message, that it is transmitting the message so quickly. Okay, now come back to this nerve fiber. If we have to magnify this nerve fiber and study what this nerve fiber is made up of, I see the second picture, children. So as you can see in the second picture, this is nothing but this nerve fiber. Nerve fiber, I am just trying to magnify and read about a nerve fiber, this long strand of nerve fiber, what is it is made up of. So as you can see here, they are made up of individual small units, okay, individual small units, and these units are nothing but cells. Any tissue I call it as group of cell. Each unit is a cell, children. What cell? Nerve cell. Okay. So I understand that nerve fibers are nothing but they are group of nerve cells. Nerve cells. Okay. They are made up of individual units called nerve cells. And there is another term that we use to represent this nerve cells. We will see what is that. So we will see exactly how a nerve cell will look like. Yes, in the next slide. See children, the same picture is just given here as a cell. Okay. So for your understanding, these individual small units is shown as typical nerve cells in a sequence. This is how the nerve cells will be arranged in your nerve fiber, in your nerve or nerve fiber. So each cell I will call it as nerve cell. So how many nerve cell you can see in this picture? Yes. 1, 2, 3. So children, what did we understand from this slide? These individual small units that you see in a nerve fiber is nothing but nerve cell. Okay children, and we can also call it by neuron. Fine children, whatever you see in this picture, each individual unit is nothing but a nerve cell. Okay, and these nerve cell I call by using the term neuron. Very important objective type question, children. So these neuron is making up the nervous tissue. The group of neuron or the group of nerve cells makes up the nervous tissue. Fine. Now if this neuron is a single cell, I have to study about this neuron. Okay, nerve cell, what is its component and how does it look like. Only then we can understand the nervous tissue, how the signals are getting transmitted. Fine children, you are telling like the nerve signals are transmitted in seconds, within seconds in the nerve fiber. If it is so, I should understand the parts of the cell neuron, and then I will understand how the signal is getting transmitted. Fine children? Yes. Now a single neuron, children, this slide, let us study about its parts. So what are we going to study? The parts of neuron or nerve cell. Neuron is also called what, children? Nerve cell. Fine. As you can see here in the first picture, you can see a single neuron. It looks like a small tree. Exactly, it looks like a small tree. Yes, no children, it has a highly branched head-like structure like a tree, the top of a tree, and then it also, the ending of the neuron, I can see a long strand like a stem, and then the ending of the neuron I can see like roots, like. So we say, if you get a question like how does a neuron look like, you can say it looks like a small tree. Fine. Okay. Now as you can see in the second slide, second picture, we can now study about the parts of neuron. Okay, now coming to the head part. Okay, it looks like a star like portion, no children, the head part. You can see it is a cell. Ultimately it is a cell. So any cell will have a nucleus and it will have a jelly like substance called cytoplasm, all those. Now coming to this neuron picture, I can see the nucleus is centrally located in the head portion, and this head portion I call it as cell body. What children? Cell body, the head of the neuron. It is also called cyton. Cell body is also called as cyton. And this cyton has a nucleus in center and cytoplasm, and then they have finely divided branches. The cell body has finely divided branches called dendrites. What are those children? Dendrites. Actually, dendrites only picks up the signal first. Okay, I will just teach you in the next slide which part of the neuron is getting the signal first. Okay. So now we understand the cell body is finely divided into branches called dendrites, and then there is one long strand which is unbranched, and it is an extension of this cell body. What is that part, children? That is axon. Yes, the long unbranched extension, I call it as axon. And now this axon, finally it is ending up in axon terminals. Okay, the end portion of axon, it is again divided, and I have many edges, and this portion I call it as axon terminal. Terminal means end portion, terminating means stopping there or ending there. So that is called axon terminals, or also you can use the word nerve endings. Okay, it is a neuron, right? So you can use the word nerve ending. Can we list out again the parts of neuron? The first one you call it as cyton or cell body. It is branched highly, and these branches it is called as dendrites, and there is one long strand that is called axon, and then the axon ends up in what, children? Axon terminal. Fine. Yes, now you might have a clear understanding why this neuron cell alone is very strange. Okay, it is not like a normal cell that you are drawing. Usually you draw a rectangular cell or a hexagonal cell. Yes, that is how you draw a cell, or oval shape. But why this neuron is like a long cell? Because, and it might even go up to 1 meter length, children. Okay, neuron in your body, the length might even go to 1 meter. One cell measurement, it might go even up to 1 meter. Can you guess why the cell is so lengthy? Definitely you have to correlate with the function. What is the function? Transmission of the impulse. If the message or the signal has to be transmitted so quickly, the cell has to be long enough, right? So quickly it transmits to next cell. Fine, children. So why that is one cell is even up to 1 meter length. Fine. Now we will see the transmission of the impulse. First, which part of the neuron is getting the signal, from where to where it is getting transmitted, we can see in detail. See, you have 3 pictures in sequence, children. So as you can see in the first picture, can you tell which part of the neuron is getting the impulse first? Dendrites. Dendrites, the fine branches, is picking up the nerve impulse from the tail of the next neuron, that is from the terminal portion of the previous neuron. Okay, dendrites is the first part of neuron which is getting the signal. This can be asked as an objective question. Which part of neuron is getting the signal first, or receiving the signal, or receiving the nerve impulse? Dendrites. Fine. From dendrites, where is the signal moving on? See the second picture. It is moving on to cell body. Cell body, also called as what, children? Cyton. Yes. Now the signal has come to cyton, the head of the neuron. Now from the cyton it will get transmitted through the axon. The third picture is axon. See, as the signal is transmitting, it is given in yellow color in the picture for your understanding. So say me the transmission pathway. First it is received from dendrites, moves to cell body or cyton. From cyton it is getting transmitted through the long strand called axon, and then to axon terminal. From that is the fourth part is axon terminal. Finally, from the axon the nerve impulse comes to axon terminals, and from the ends of the axon terminals it is moving on to, the signal is moving on to the next neuron. Okay, it is very important, children, this portion exactly it is repeated in class 10. Okay, this nerve transmission, impulse transmission. Shall we tell once again? So what is this topic, children? Transmission of impulse, transmission of nerve impulse. Can you list out with me? Okay, first the impulse is received by dendrites, the fine branches. Then from the dendrites it moves to the cyton or cell body, and then from cyton it moves to axon, and finally from axon it moves to the ends of the axon, that is axon terminals, and from axon terminal it is moving to the second neuron or the next following neuron. Fine children, again in the next neuron the same process, dendrites, then cyton, axon terminal, then moves to the next neuron. Do you think how much time it takes for all this? Totally it takes less than 2 seconds. So like the flow of electrons in current, right, it goes so rapidly. Like exactly we can say like current, children. The minute you switch on here, your fan is starting to move, or the minute you switch on, your light is glowing. So you can't even imagine the flow of electrons in electricity. Very similarly, that is the same thing happening in your body as nerve impulse. So quickly the transmission is happening. That is why we are able to respond. Very important life characteristic, children. If you say something has life, it should have this ability of responding to the stimuli. Only then you will call it as living being. So imagine, children, if the same case, the what we studied, you are touching a hot vessel accidentally. If you don't have this sense, or if you have lost the capacity of this nerve transmission, okay, some default that what happened, you have lost the ability of this transmission of impulse. So your nerves will not function, your brain will not able to sense, and what will happen to your hand? You will be still touching the hot vessel, okay, and your skin will get burnt. So this nervous tissue and nerve cells functioning is very important in our body, that we are able to sense the changes around us. So we understood. What are the facts we understood, children? We have nervous tissues. Nervous tissues are made up of group of cells called neuron or nerve cells, and we studied the parts of nerve cells. We studied how the impulse is getting transmitted through these neurons in chain, in sequence. Fine, children? Yes. So this is the last tissue that we studied in our class, and with this we are ending up our chapter, children. So let us do a quick activity. So this is a picture that is given in your book. Fine. So let us label quickly, as you know now. So I would call this part as the nucleus of cell body. This is exactly the nucleus, and this part I call it as cell body or cyton. Okay, this head portion, and then surrounded by cytoplasm, and this portion is nothing but axon, the long strand called axon. This axon is covered by a sheath like structure called myelin sheath. Yes, some neurons will have this myelin sheath, some will not have. Okay, you call it as unmyelinated neuron. You have either of the neuron that you can study in higher classes. So the important parts let us mark now. And then we also studied this cell body has fine branches called dendrites. Yes, and then this long axon, and this axon is ending up in axon terminal, or I would also use the word nerve ending. Axon terminals or nerve ending. Fine, children? You are clear? Yes. Cell body has dendrites, axon, and then nerve endings. Fine. Now tell me this question, children, the answer for this question. What is the functional unit of nervous system? Unit, individual unit I said, right? What is the name? Neuron. The functional unit of nervous system is neuron. What is the meaning of this sentence? Your nervous system is completely made up of this small units called neuron, or also called as nerve cell. Yes. So wherever you get this question, what is the functional unit of nervous system? Neuron, also called as nerve cell. Okay, now tell me the functions of neuron, children. So it is this neuron which helps you to sense the stimuli. Okay, what helped you to sense that the vessel was hot? The neurons. Okay, the neuron in your sensory organs. Okay, so first it helps to sense the stimuli. Then after sensing, is the stimuli, is the message only stopping here? No, it is getting transmitted. Fine, children. So we use the word conduction or transmission. Conduction or transmission of nerve impulse. Yes, of nerve impulse. The message is immediately conducted. Yes, this is also happening through the neurons, and then it reaches your spinal cord and also your brain. Okay, and in the spinal cord again it takes a quick decision, and what happens, children? The message is coming back to your motor neuron. Okay, so motor neuron in the sense the neuron that brings the message from brain or spinal cord, we call it as motor neuron, and then you show the response. The response shown, what is the response shown here? In this case, you are withdrawing your hand quickly. The response shown is due to the motor neuron, that creates the change in the muscle. Okay, children, finally the motor neuron is ending up in your muscle. Your muscle in your hand is contracting, which is helping your hand to be withdrawn. So finally we understand that your nervous tissue and muscle is working together to withdraw. It is not enough only the neuron is activated, children. Your muscle also simultaneously, what it should do? It should contract and pull your hand back. Okay, so your lesson is ending up with these sentences. So let us see these lines, children. Nerve impulses allows us to move our muscles when we want to. The functional combination of nerve and muscle tissue is fundamental to most animals. This last line is very important, children. It is a combination of both nerve and muscle tissue that is helping for all your movements. Okay, as you can see in this picture also, you see, children, the nerve impulse from spinal cord is reaching your muscle, right? Your muscle in your hand, it should contract. Only with the contraction you are able to pull off the hand. See the third line. This combination enables animals to move rapidly in response to stimuli. What is the stimuli? The heat was the stimuli. What was the rapid change? The withdrawing or pulling of the hand was the response. So which two tissue is involved here, children? Nervous tissue and muscular tissue. You understood? Now what tissue we studied in this session? Nervous tissue. Fine, children? Yes. So I will end up this session with the important fact for you. Can you read the question? How many neurons are present in human brain? See, your human brain is made up of number of neurons that is helping you in all the activities and deciding. Can you guess the number of neurons in your human brain? Is it in thousands or millions or lakhs, or how many, children? It is about 86 billions, children. Around 86 billions of neurons are found in your brain. 86, not million, billion. So many neurons are there in your brain that you have to protect your neurons for all your intelligence. Okay, you have also read, if you continuously see all this radiations like playing in mobile with video games for a long time, what will happen to these neurons? Kindly browse and find out if these neuron has to be healthy, what should be your daily habits also. These billions of neurons were very important for our intelligence, reading, memory, everything. Okay, especially as a student you should know this. Fine, children? Yes. So we will quickly sum up the nervous tissue. What did we see? Yes, we saw the nervous tissue are made up of fine units called nerve cell. The individual units are called nerve cells or neuron. Then we saw about the parts of the neuron. We studied the parts of neuron, the main 4 parts. Yes, can you list out, children? Dendrites, cyton, axon and axon terminals. Okay, we saw the parts of neuron, and we also saw how is this transmission of impulse happening. Transmission of impulse, how it takes place in a neuron. We also saw this. Okay, this was the topic that we saw today, nervous tissue. With this we are completing what chapter, children? Animal tissues. Yes, we completed today this nervous tissue. So you are thorough of all this 4 classification. What are the 4 classification? Epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and today we completed nervous tissue. With this we are completing today's chapter. Thank you, children.